Hi everyone, and welcome to another OpsIQ video. And this is a continuation of the first day of a performance project. The last video was the first morning meeting, and this one will talk about what happens the rest of the day. And actually, for the whole week, it's kind of the same routine. So I'll sum up at the end, but everything that applies on this day would apply for the whole week. The number one thing I do on the rig is listen. So I listen to what they're saying in meetings. I hang out in the lunchroom. I'm in the control room, and I'm asking people pretty open, easygoing questions. Where are you from? How long you've been here? What's your name? All of that kind of stuff. I also answer lots of their questions. So they'll ask me who I am, what am I doing here, what do I think of blah, blah, blah. And I tell them that I'm a coach. I'm here to listen to them and help them achieve what they think is the most important thing to achieve. And I also start telling them that to do that, I'll be setting up individual coaching sessions with them. I also tell them that I'll never tell them what to do. I'll never say, thou shalt do this. And the reason is that I am not a content expert. I do not know how to, in this case, run a drilling rig. They know that. They've been doing it for, some of them, 20 years, but way more time than me. So if they start asking me questions like that, they're in big trouble. What I am an expert in is finding out what struggles they're having in achieving the performance that they'd like to get to, and I work with them in coaching sessions to help them through all of that, to help them get where they want to get to. And I also get statements that are made to me that I respond to. For example, a lot of people think, and some say out loud, that it's a big problem for me being on the rig because, number one, it's taking money away from their salaries, and number two, money away from equipment that they might be able to get to perform their jobs better. And my response to that is to ask them a bunch of open questions. I want to understand their argument, because if I don't understand their argument, I can't respond to it. So I'll ask them a bunch of questions like, tell me more about this salary issue. Why do you think money is a concern? And explain to me about the equipment. What equipment do you need? I'd really like to know that. And after having discussions like that, usually what comes up is that I'll explain that for a 1% reduction in costs in this project, it's usually at least $1 million in savings every year. And our salary is about 1/4 of that price just in year one. And then second of all, in this project we're reducing total recordable injury frequency rate, or TRIF. And what does that mean if that goes down 1%? Not just in costs, but in the pain and suffering of everybody's. And I mentioned open questions. There's a link down below that you can click on to learn more about open questions. They're really, really handy. But basically, an open question is a question that can't be answered with a yes or no. And I may or may not win the argument, but that's not the goal here. The goal is really to gain respect, to understand each other. They may think I'm still a waste of time, and that's okay. Usually they're not the ones paying my bill anyway. And but again, it's having that conversation so we can meet them in the hallway and have those discussions, and everything's out in the open. The next thing I do during the first week is start to schedule coaching sessions. So I'm away for a week, but then when I get back, I'll set up times to meet with them, usually for about an hour. One of the other things I do during the entire week is I start to analyze things and think of preparing a report. And what I do is I'll Pareto out ideas. In other words, figure out what to work on that'll get the most bang for the buck the quickest. I may put ideas in a grid formation to, again, rank them. I also often put together a mind map to show all the different connections between all the parties, because that helps down the road as you're trying to get things implemented. And I also update the project plan, or the Gantt chart, And as I said, that's constantly changing, but what it does is it keeps me on track, especially with how much time I have left over. And I put all that together and I write a one-page report. It's never more than one page. If you can't get your stuff across in one page, then you're, as far as I'm concerned, you're not focused. And senior leaders don't have time to go over 100 pages of documents and that documents every second that you're on the rig. They're really looking for results. And then I set up a meeting with Dale, the tool pusher, and his boss, and maybe another VP, maybe a safety person, everyone who's interested in what's going on in this project. And we have about a half an hour meeting at the end of the week. And then what I do is I leave, and I leave for a week. And that's important. A lot of consultants don't do that. They stay on the project for 12 to 18 months. And I have found that that doesn't work very well. It's better, I mean, it works well for the consultant because they're making a lot of money, but it's better to let people play the game. One of the biggest errors that coaches make is overcoaching, and it's better to work with the players, or the clients in this case, and let them go out and play the game. I'm not on the drilling rig every day. They have to go out, they have to think about what they're learning when they're talking with me, try those things out, and there is no failure, because if they fail trying something, then we know that that doesn't work, and that's one step ahead of their competition. And so you have to let them ride the bike, so to speak, and let them fall off a few times until they get it. So that's why we at Renshi, we only go in every other week. And again, that's a huge cost saving. Thanks. That's all for the first week on the rig. And the next video that I make, I'll talk to you about the second week that I come back to the rig, and I'll talk about coaching sessions, action item lists, meeting mechanics, and of course, metrics. Below there's links to some of the tools that I've used in this video, and also a summary of what we talked about today. If you're like me, you probably watched this video because you're interested in improving performance. If you liked it, please give it a like and share it with like-minded people. Also, if you have questions, enter them in the comments section below and I'll answer them. Finally, my contact information is also below if you'd like to contact me directly. Thanks, and see you next time.